Welcome to the Wiggly Sausage Farm. Today we will be discussing a question I've seen often that will be addressed using goats, pigs, chickens as examples, but apply to all different kinds of livestock available and what you're trying to offer to your market. Now the question, what is the going rate for my blank animal or livestock I want to sell? So you've set up a breeding plan and with set goals that you're trying to achieve with your chosen animals. You now have progeny from your breeding plans and have decided who to keep and who to cull. And in this case, you are culling through selling the animals that you no longer wish to keep on your farm. What should you set the price at? Most people are concerned about selling themselves short when they are posting this question for other breeders to give their advice. You want the quick answer? Here it is. No April Foolin'. The answer is it depends on math. Just also to put this out here, if you're listening to my video, I just have one request. If you get nothing else from this video, do not post this question on social media sites. Let me tell you why. A lot of these groups don't owe you the right information. They don't know your production costs associated with caring and raising your animals. They don't know your financial situation, your time's worth, and most importantly, how much money you need to stay break even or profitable. When you post on these groups, you are asking your competition and customers what your prices should be set at. Walmart doesn't do that. Walmart doesn't ask what they should charge to their customers through their competition and customers' advice. You and I don't get to walk into Walmart or insert any other store of your choosing and say, I want this for this price right now. They set their price with their price margins or profit margins, and then the customer either buys it or they don't. I cringe when I see these posts asking how much they should price their livestock at. I find it ignorant or lazy, and both are not good for your farm's success. You should know through your breeding goals and plans what you have to offer. If you're working your farm or enterprise, you know what your management and care costs to raise your livestock animals are. If you send to the butcher for any livestock that are meat-based, you know how much it costs to have them slaughtered and processed. You know all of these input costs for your individual farm or enterprise. Now, before you even get your livestock animal and genetic lines, you should have researched the market on them. What animal goes for what price and why? For example, for those who are complaining about the price of eggs, yes, I know they are still expensive and more expensive than they were in the past. At the store, they are still, in today's market, $6 for a dozen of store brand conventional eggs. When we first started the Wiggly Sausage Farm, the store brand of conventional eggs was almost $4 a dozen. My eggs cost me about $5 a dozen with production costs. We charged $6 a dozen for them and had very few customers. In honesty, to be transparent, my financial situation definitely does not depend on my farm or my farm's income. It didn't affect me at that time for customers who did not want to pay the $6. Now with experience, infrastructure, and adjusting to the right feed and breed of chicken, still in my area's winter season, I am getting about 144 to 170 eggs a week. A dozen eggs this February only cost me $1.13 to produce. If I had asked someone to tell me how much to charge for my eggs when I first started, they might have said at least, to charge what is being charged in the grocery store, or even less. I definitely saw other farms that were only charging grocery store prices or less, or $1 less. The work involved with raising chickens includes feeding, watering, cleaning, and collecting eggs. It is not necessarily hard work, but just collecting eggs, washing them, putting them in egg cartons, and keeping them in a refrigerator so that they could be picked up for $6 a dozen did not make it worth setting up pickup appointments for our eggs. So the eggs we get, we keep for ourselves and family and friends. Since production costs have decreased for us, I have grappled with the idea of selling eggs once more. But even with the decreased production costs, I would not change my price from $6 a dozen for an increased profit. But again, my financial situation is not dependent on my eggs. I believe my time and product is worth the extra money. My yolks are orange, gold, and not pale yellow. My chickens get all the supplements they want, free choice. In honesty, I don't feel like I am skimping on their care in any way. My point being, I don't know your situation. Do you need these eggs to sell in order to keep and feed your chickens, or pay a bill, or feed your children? What if your production input costs are more than what I, as a consumer and customer, think a price for eggs should be? What if you raise a endangered or a rare chicken breed and its eggs are far and few in between? What if this is your whole business? Some farms only do poultry products. I have hogs and goats to offset my farm income. But if you only do chickens, you might rely on these eggs for your farm income. I am Samani, and if I said it incorrectly, I'm sorry. But they're the pure black chickens in color. They are rare, and they're definitely more expensive to acquire than chicks from Tractor Supply. Those eggs should be more expensive. But a competitor or customer might not think so and set you up for failure if you listen to their advice instead of doing math. Well, I don't raise chickens, you might say. And to that I say, just you wait, you might. But all joking aside, here's another example. We have registered Nigerian dwarf goats on our farm. I have paid $70 for an unregistered Nigerian dwarf goat, and I have paid $500 for a registered Nigerian dwarf goat. Some registered Nigerian dwarf goats go for a lot of money, more than $500, more than the $70, but up to $2,000 or more. For example, the last ADGA registered Nigerian dwarf buck kid from Old Mountain Farm in Maine sold for over $30,000 at the 2022 ADGA Spotlight sale. Production costs for my goats, unregistered and registered, are almost the same. You will often hear registered goat breeders say that they both cost the same to raise, but one you can sell for more. I have more registered goats than unregistered. All of my unregistered goats are from registered stock, but was not registered at the time that I had purchased or given with their registration papers. All of the input costs, plus the recorded performance of the animal and their genetic lines, are important in deciding your animal's price. The availability of the animal's genetics lines are important too, as well as, if you're not focusing on genetics, having a rare or uncommon breed. For example, in terms of genetics, there is a farm that moved to my area. She has great Nigerian dwarf goats that are registered, but can't sell them because while that line was hard to find out west, that genetic line is native to this area. It is a common line to find. In my area, Nigerian dwarf goats saturate the market as it is, with both unregistered and registered goats. In my market, my experience is that potential new buyers want cheaply priced goats with good quality or flashy colors, or registered goats that are proven but cheaply priced. Any buyers who spend more money are already breeders bringing in new genetic lines to their farm. Like I said in another video, with a saturated breed or genetic line, sellers are competing with other sellers and have less say in setting your price. This is why research is so important. Don't be ignorant or lazy. Do yourself and your farm a favor and do the work and educate yourself. Look at other farms with similar genetic lines or breeds and see what they offer with their offered animal. In the terms of goats, it would be disputing services, vaccines, supplements, performance recording, and others, and what they have listed on the animal. If the animal is not listed for sale, reach out, compliment the breeder, state that you know they aren't available for sale, but if they were, ask the breeder how much they would sell their animal for. At the very worst, the breeder doesn't get back to you. You have to find a pricing system that works for you and your farm. And again, this is why it's so important to do the math. You have to know what works for you and what will keep you caring for your livestock and your farm and yourself operating. I hope these examples that I've shared with you show livestock breeders and owners how to come up with a price that doesn't sell you short. Farming isn't easy. Hobby farms aren't even easy. This is a lot of hard work that we do every day, rain or shine, negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 102 degrees. Your time, your product, it's worth it. But you need to know your costs in order to be able to set that price so you are setting yourself up for success. Which, as a fellow person in the agricultural setting, that's all I ever want to see for anyone trying to do this life, is setting yourself up for success. It is going to be a tough year. If you haven't considered culling by slaughter, you may have to consider it this year. If your freezers are full, you and myself included, might have to prepare to take animals to the sale barn, the meat auction, or take quick sale low prices, even though that wasn't the intention. I will be, again, transparent and honest. My unregistered or low quality animals are animals that I just don't need on my farm and I didn't invest a lot of money on. I'm pricing much lower than I ever would have. The market is saturated in some areas. Prices are high in almost every category, and finding willing customers will be a challenge this year for sure. As always, thank you for watching. I hope this helps you find a range of prices to sell your livestock or products. And if it doesn't, I hope I helped you in at least some way. As always, good luck on your farm.